The Roxy Theatre in Coleman, Alberta has been nominated as one of 12 finalists for the National Trust for Canada's The Next Great Save competition this year. The theatre itself is a National Historic Site in the municipality of Crow's Nest Pass. So joining me today from the Crow's Nest Pass to discuss this and talk all about the Roxy is Fred Bradley. And many of you may remember Fred as the former MLA for the Pincher Creek area from 1975 through 1993. That's a long time. Welcome to Bridge City News, Fred. Great to have you on.
Great to be on your broadcast, and that was a long 30 years ago when I left office.
Right, but you were in there for a long time. But maybe can you share some more details about this competition that the Roxy Theatre now finds itself in?
Well, the National Trust for Canada, which is Canada's leading heritage organization, has this project called the Next Great Save Contest.
Okay.
And the Roxy Theatre is one of 12 finalists across the country to be entered into this contest. And the contest awards the participant with the greatest number of votes, $50,000 for first place. Second place, 10,000, and third place, 5,000. So our community is our project, we applied and we were successful. So we're really excited by that, and it's been a great opportunity for us to create awareness about the Roxy Theatre and to get people to support our project. And we've had overwhelming community support. Our challenge now is to grow our vote out, to get more votes from people outside our community who support the arts, who support restoration of historic buildings, and who also may be aware of the communities in the Crow's Nest Pass have suffered economically over the last 40 years. And this would be a very important project of renewal and economic revitalization in one of the historic downtowns. Coleman is a National Historic Site. The Roxy Theatre is a provincial historic resource declared in 2022. And this is the concept is to restore this building as a community performing arts center. But the contest goes until May the 5th, 5 more days of voting, and people can vote each and every day on the nextgreatsave.ca website.
Okay, so voting deadline is Monday, May the 5th. In order to win, you need to get people to put in their votes for the Roxy Theatre. So how can viewers go about casting their votes?
Well, you go to nextgreatsave.ca and there's a gallery of the 12 finalists. You go down to the Roxy Theatre, click Vote Now. You have to fill in your email address. And once you do that, you submit that. They will then say they've sent a confirming email back to that email address. You open your email, you have to validate your vote there, and then it comes back to the screen and you count my vote. So it's about a 4 vote process.
Well, maybe share some of the key reasons why the Roxy Theatre in Coleman was selected as one of the finalists for the competition. What makes it so special?
Well, the Roxy's played an integral role in the cultural life of the community of Coleman as a performance theater and a movie theater, a performance center movie theater. And it's iconic. It's a historic landmark building with pristine acoustics and classic lines, and one of 3 surviving Quonset hut style theaters in Canada, believe it or not. So it's really a unique project. As you can look in the photo behind me, you can see the Quonset in the back of it. The front is a 2-story brick building. But these Quonset style theaters occurred after the end of the Second World War. The United States Air Force had 140,000 surplus airplane hangars. 140 of those became theaters. Today, there's less than 20 left in North America, only 3 in Canada, and the Roxy Theatre is one of those. So it's, in terms of a heritage building, it's a very rare thing in Canada. And there's the other 2 are one's in Wainwright, Alberta, the other is in Victoria, BC, and the one in Victoria is closed. So from that perspective, it is very important. And so that's the preservation arguments. We're going to preserve a historic building that, before the local community group purchased it, there was a group going to purchase, and they're going to tear down the Quonset part of the building. And we said, no, we need to move. We can repurpose this building. There's a real need. So saving the building from destruction was one of the objects. The second was we have a really surviving, or a really, I don't know how to say surviving is the wrong word, a very really um, um, great group of performance artists, musicians in the community who need a place to play. Um, so a revived Roxy, a restored Roxy, will become an arts and cultural hub for the community and a social gathering place for the community, for performing artists, musicians, dancers, for young people to perform on the stage. And our movie theater closed in 2019, so people will be able to watch movies again on the big screen. I think as a youth, the first movie I went to with my parents, I was 5 or 6 years, maybe 6, 7 years old. Well, there's been for the last 5 years, young people in the Crow's Nest Pass of that age group haven't been able to go to a big screen. Their parents have had to take them out of the
Right.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, similarly, the Turning Point Dance Studio, which is great young performers, for them to do their annual concert, they go to Lethbridge on the H stage. Now that's great for Lethbridge, but the economic benefit of that, the Turning Point Dance Studio said there's about approximately $200,000 because people go stay overnight with their children, go to the performances, the hospitality industry, etc. Benefits in Lethbridge. Well, we would like to have that happen here in the Crow's Nest Pass. Similarly, our Crow's Nest Pass Symphony Orchestra, which is actually one of the oldest amateur symphony orchestras in Canada, is going to be 100 years old in 2026. Well, we would like to have them perform that 100th anniversary concert on the stage of the Roxy. And there's so many other groups. We have 2 theatrical groups, our community choir, a lot of individual musicians who would like to be on that stage. And we're going to have youth activities, programming for youth, and get them engaged. Our young people tell us we don't have anything to do at night. Well, this would give them something. Go to a movie, see a performance, actually have other youth programming in the building. So it's going to do that many different things for our community. Plus, we can bring in top-notch acts that can perform on that stage. Traveling musicians who play in Cranbrook or Fort Macleod or Lethbridge would have a place to play here also.
Definitely. Okay, so it shows movies. It's a venue for live entertainment. And you mentioned musicians, and I understand that the Crow's Nest Orchestra has a short video appeal to cast your vote for them, right?
They do.
So maybe we can play that clip right now.
Cast your vote today. We're the Crow's Nest Community Orchestra, and you need a place to play.
Well, okay, so that is fabulous. Fred, how many can the theater actually seat? How many people can fit in there?
We expect to 265 seats. Originally, it was 335 seats. And with putting a stage in, we'll think we comfortably fit 250 to 275. That really hasn't been determined exactly yet because we're working on those plans. That's going to be putting in the new seats. Maybe one of the last things we do. We want to get the building up and ready for that, and that is a big project. And maybe we can review what we've done to date on that.
Yeah. So part of the vision for the Roxy Theater, if you win these funds, is to get it restored, get it reopened. Um, it's been closed down since 2003, right? So is it viable? Do you think to reopen?
Well, it has sat empty for the last 20 years. The last time it was occupied was Ralph Thurn, who is a Juno-winning CBC producer from Calgary, came down and actually converted the movie theater to a performance stage to put on performances. And the Lost Creek fire in 2003, so smoky in here that you have to have audiences, and people stayed away. So he decided to close it. So it's been closed for the last 20 years. Yes, it is a viable project. We've had engineering studies, restoration studies look at it, and with the first phase of the project was to buy the theater. Um, we raised over $65,000 to do that in 2020, so that showed there was community support. Then we with matching government grants, we got engineering studies done, which the engineering studies we've got the engineering studies done, and then the first phase was last year, where the most important thing about any historic structure is to maintain its structural integrity. So the first thing we had done was last year with grants from the federal and provincial government and a generous support of Tech Coal, who's our major industry on the BC side of the border. We don't have any industry here in the Crow's Nest Pass anymore to support this. They donated $250,000. So we had over $500,000 of work last year that went into to restore the foundation. So the foundation has been totally restored. We took out in the interior of the building, removed the some of the hazardous materials, etc. So the interior is ready to move in to put in heating, HVAC, audio, lighting, the new seats, refurbish it, and we restored the roof on the Quonset building, and we need to redo the obviously make sure that the Quonset hut itself is restored also. So it'll be that we have to do some work on the exterior of that, but our big project with the $50,000, because we can get some matching grants next year,
I was going
is
to
to
say
restore
that
the
what
facade.
you're talking about sounds like a lot more than $50,000, unfortunately, because just things are so expensive these days. So yeah, I was going to say, are you going to be
Well,
needing more funds, and are you getting any donors that are saying, hey, I'll match that?
the $50,000 is going to go to help us restore the facade. As you can see, the facade, it's
There it
the
is behind
Roxy
your head
sign.
there. I
Yeah,
love
the
that
Roxy
sign.
sign, the aluminum facade, the all the brick, the glass block building blocks that are in it, the classic lines of it, the theater doors. So 50,000 is going to help us with that. We've had an anonymous donor said, if you win the contest, we will donate $50,000 also.
I
So
love
we're really
that.
out there on this campaign is worth $100,000 if we get to the top. But we're behind, and that's why we're really working hard to see if we can get those extra votes to move us closer to that goal.
Well, then you probably answered my next question, which is what kind of feedback are you getting from the locals? Is there enough excitement for residents of the area to attend events and to financially support it?
Well, we've had a lot of tremendous community support. I mean, our fundraising committee has gone out and hosted a number of events. One of them was recently a play, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they had to perform it in a church basement. You know, we just don't have that type of performance facility, so they raised money with that. We have a violin auction that's going on. Someone generously donated 40 violins, and artists have painted those, and those are currently on auction site at our and can be found on our webpage, Roxy Theatre CMP .com and the Crow's Nest Can Do website. So there is a lot of community support for this. We're getting from all the artist groups, the performing groups, young people, students at the high school, the Turning Point Dance Studio, the orchestra, individual musicians. There's a great support, and we've got a great base of support in the Crow's Nest Pass. We've got about 1,500 people who voted for the project so far.
Wow, so far. It's so important for the next generations to remember the heritage and the history of the area that they grew up in, isn't it?
Yes, so that is important.
What is your favorite memory of the Roxy Theater, Fred?
Well, I remember once going there, and they had I think it was Ravine, the musician, and they tries to hypnotize people from the audience.
Oh,
Before I knew it, I was up on stage, hypnotized, and couldn't remember my name. So,
you
who are
couldn't
you?
remember your own name?
No, so that's one of my biggest recollections of being in the Roxy. What I wanted to mention was that we know Canadians believe in the importance and vibrancy of the country's cultural industries. And our Roxy Theatre project is a competition, a way for Canadians to show their active support for the arts. And we know that funding for arts organizations declined from governments and at local levels, federal levels, and corporate donors. So we're fortunate to have tech support. So this project is really important. We value the arts in our community and want our artists to have a home to display their craft. And this project can be transformational for our community by providing a cultural industry anchor for the economic renewal of a historic downtown that has suffered with the demise of our traditional resource industries over the past 40 years. And so having this multi-use performing arts center, it's going to be a cultural hub. It's actually a cultural industry. for a community that hasn't got any resource industry anymore. This is a new industry for the Crow's Nest Pass, and it'll be a center for that. So that's another very important aspect of this project. Now, you asked me how you can vote.
Yes, one more time. Just remind our viewers where they should go to cast their votes.
Yes, we need every vote we can get, and we appreciate the support of everyone in Southern Alberta and beyond. If you can vote for the Roxy Theatre, we really appreciate your support. Help us open this theatre so our youth have a place to play, and go vote at www.nextgradesave.ca and click on the Roxy Theatre and vote today and every day until May 3rd, May 6th, because it's a cumulative voting contest. So your vote, there's 5 more days to vote. Vote every day. We appreciate your support. To encourage votes, we are having a vote-a-thon with performances by local musicians starting at 4 o'clock on Sunday night. And this vote-a-thon is going to go as long as we have the musicians and performers to play. It starts at 4 o'clock. We may go all night. It's a vote-a-thon to vote for the Roxy. So it's going to be on Facebook Live. Just people go to Facebook Live on Sunday night. You should find us on Facebook Live under the Roxy Theatre or one of the other groups. And please watch it, and please encourage people to vote for the Roxy. But our vote-a-thon, that's what we're counting to really grow our vote to get us over the top by engaging people here and around the world in this very important project to not only preserve a historic building, but to create this performance stage for our youth and the people of our community.
Amazing. Thanks so much for all you do for the community, Fred. So great to have you on today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.